Patch notes just got released and they're looking pretty spicy, so in this video we're gonna go over all of the nerfs and buffs and see what that's gonna be meaning for the meta. If you're serious about Hearthstone, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Now let's check out the nerfs and buffs.
You are not prepared!
Okay, so patch is live, not live, but the patch notes are showing. What am I even talking about? We had the leak and now it's getting revealed and launched, so yeah, get ready for that. The first one is kind of huge, like this is kind of big for the Symphony. I still think maybe they should have even bumped it up to a 6 mana, because the Symphony is still pretty much a busted card. It's right now, it's definitely the best thing you could be doing on 5, but nerfing this alone is also pretty huge, so I kind of like that they didn't just revert the nerf back to the old state, which was just 6 mana, and now you're actually gonna just be drawing a minion and reducing its cost by 6, not your highest minion, so no longer you're actually going to be needing to hide Yogg into an ETC, but also no more Sargeras on turn 6s. That is definitely quite the big hit, and it was quite the big scam, but let's face it, it wasn't happening all that often, so it's kind of a cool nerf, honestly. Like, it's going to remove those basically non-games where you just get Sargeras on turn 6, and what are you gonna do after that? Like, nothing really can happen afterwards, so I like this nerf, honestly. I do enjoy the Control Warlock class, but it's obviously way too busted to remain like that, so this is definitely a decent nerf to it. Moving down to Mech Rogue, and Coppertail Snoop is gonna get shaved off with a couple of stats. It was used to be a 4/3, now it's gonna be a 3/2. It's still gonna be a huge deck, it's still gonna be a huge card, no changes, honestly. No changes for Warlock, no changes for Mech Rogue as well. These cards are still gonna remain in the deck, because being able to actually do this as soon as turn 2 and start gaining a bunch of coins, and it's usually pretty hard for the opponent to actually remove it, it's gonna be a lot harder. But on another note, the way this was insanely strong was turn 1 you played a 2/1, your next mech costs 1 less, and turn 2 you magnetize this. And now the body you magnetize onto is only going to be a 4/3, a 5/3. So it's going to be a lot more susceptible to a lot of traditional removal this early in the game. So definitely not a small nerf, but it's still going to remain an absolutely busted deck. So again, decent nerf. Maybe it's not even hard enough, honestly, but I guess it's a fine way to see how that one's gonna go. Moving down to Spite Lash Siren, and alas, she is going back to 5 mana again. Like, this card has been yo-yoing for so long, like, it's so hard to balance it apparently. Like, it either breaks the game or it's absolute dog trash, and I'm not sure if this is actually gonna kill the deck. I don't know. I really tried my best not to touch Nagamage, because I knew it's gonna get nerfed to the ground again if it gets picked up, and the pros overdid it again, basically. So yeah, I don't know. Some of the more versed Nagamage players can let me know down in the comments below if this is gonna be making the deck obsolete again, or it's just not that amazing of a nerf. But I do believe my 2 cents on the matter. I think it's gonna get toned down in power once more, and it's probably not gonna be as popular even in top 1000 Legend again. But again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Starstrong Bow also gets shaved with 1 damage, which means basically 4 damage across 4 swings. Really not that big a deal. Like, let's face it, this weapon was busted even with 1 secret plate. Like, and usually you do play this for 4 mana. Like, a lot of the times this can get down to 4 mana easily just by forging the traps and playing him as soon as turn 3 or 4. So it was just way too OP sitting at 6/2, sitting down at 5/2, definitely a lot more acceptable, and I still believe the deck is going to be insanely strong afterwards, so I don't think it's going to be impacting the Arcane Hunter win rate all that much. It's going to tone it down a little, but it was above 60%, like that's not healthy for the game. And speaking for not healthy for the game, moving down to Odin Warrior with 2 mild nerfs. Let's call them mild nerfs, because they're not really that strong. The weapon basically gets reverted back. Oh, no, it doesn't. It only... Oh my god, this is a fucking slap on the wrist if I ever saw one. Only 1 less armor? Really? It's a fucking common card, too. Like, do this on legendary cards, please. God damn it, dude. But, yeah, this is non-existent nerf, basically. It was super broken before, now it's gonna be just broken. It's still pretty amazing, like 9 armor on a stick with removal, 6 damage for Odin like that, pretty big stuff. But yeah, this is just a very, very small nerf. And the other one was the obvious Sanitize going up to 5 mana. So there's that as well. Not that big a deal. It's gonna be a little bit harder for him to actually clear all the taunts and gain a ton of armor at the same time after they play their Odin, because let's face it, that was the main reason why Sanitize was so broken. But it was also pretty nice for a turn 4 clear, so going up to 5, it can definitely make him a little bit more susceptible to board damage in the early turns. So, decent-ish nerf. Maybe it needs a little bit more of nerf, but I guess time will tell if Odin Warrior gets toned down again. Let's leave Warrior to be a little bit OP for a few weeks, shall we? Like, they were dragged through the mud for like 2 years. Let's give them a couple of more weeks, shall we? See where that goes. Contaminated Lasher goes up to a 3 mana 3/3, still same effect. So it's basically an innervate with a body attached to it. I'm not sure. Is this just trash now? Kind of feels like trash now, don't it? Like, I don't know. What can they really do this? What can they do with this? They can still maybe do some wonky stuff with what was the armor guy that got nerfed a couple of times name? They can still cheat this out for armor and actually gain actual mana like that, but I don't know, it looks weird. And waiting for the mana of the hour, the Gadgetstan Auctioneer, it's going up to 7 mana for wild, and it's leaving standard. Oh no, said almost nobody ever. Aside from the 10% people that were smashing that druid for a little bit too long. But yeah, no more Auctioneer in standard. Good riddance if you ask me. It was definitely a very toxic experience when they pop off. It was creating a lot of non-games again, so I for one would not miss this one leading. Okay, these are now for wild, so let's see where the buffs are at. Okay, moving down to the buffage. What's happening with Tony? Oh, Tony's banned in wild. Oh no! Anyway, moving down to the buffed cards. All versions of the above cards can be disenchanted, obviously. Yeah, so for all the nerfed cards, you can write refund in your search bar in your collection, and that way you're gonna see all the nerfed cards, and you're gonna have a couple of weeks from today to actually disenchant those, so use that time accordingly. And for anybody wondering, should you disenchant this card or that card, the answer is you should disenchant any nerfed cards as long as you're not literally using it right now. Like, disenchanted, play whatever you want right now. If you want, you can literally craft it in these 2 weeks again and disenchant it for the full price again. Like, no harm, no foul there. Yeah, decide for yourself, are you actually gonna keep on playing with those nerfed cards for the future, or should you just take that sweet dust right now? And if in the future those cards are still something you want, you can just craft them for the exactly same amount of dust and use them again. But if you don't want them, you're gonna be gaining all of that refund dust. So yeah, the choice is, if you're not using it literally right now, just diss it and decide later if you want it. Okay, so down with the ship is losing the Frost Tag, which is kind of a rebalance kind of deal, but cool. Actually, the other guy is also losing the Frost Tag, so you no longer need to be running Plague DK as a Frost deck, apparently. You can just running as full Unholy, which is interesting. Maybe we're gonna see a more aggressive kind of Plague DK. So that is gonna be interesting indeed. Down with the ship is no longer gonna be discovered by discover a Frost card, I'm assuming. Like, let's say from a Frost Strike and things like that, but that was never really something we do all that much, so it's really not that big a deal. Yeah, now you can actually run straight up Unholy Plague DK, which might be an interesting deck to be testing with, indeed. And same goes for the Tome Trader, which is an all-around great card. Frost Queen Syndragosa no longer has the Blood tag as well, so she can be straight up Frost DK action. I'm not sure that's going to be enough for Frost DK to be back on the block, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Tearz. Wow, imagine pronouncing that correctly. This used to rest 3 different Pally minions and set them into 2/2s. Forge, resurrect another, and now it's resurrect 3 different minions from your class. Yeah, this will make the card better when generated by other classes, apparently. I was like, what is this even? But yeah, if you discover Tearz nowadays, it's absolutely useless. Whereas now you're actually going to be able to summon something for yourself and set it to 2/2. So that's a nice little Support for all the tendril connoisseurs out there, like the random BS kind of deal, is gonna be a little bit more consistent, not by much, but by some. Siren is going up to an 8 mana 8/8. It used to be an 8 mana, but now it's actually an 8/8 as well, so that's gonna be a lot more usable. Like, you can literally start seeing this in actual pally decks again, maybe. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's definitely huge when you actually generate this through something like the Ignis weapon and whatnot, but are we really gonna start playing this in pally decks? Probably not so much. I don't know. Lord Jaraxis is only gonna be costing 8 mana now, so that's kinda cute. It's still equipping the fat weapon, it still gains the armor, and you're still gonna be summoning big fat 6/6s. So that's kinda cool, Should maybe find its way in Warlock Control-y Warlocks out there, all kinds of them, so yeah, I can see that happening. Okay, so that's it for all of the nerfs and buffs. I feel like all of the nerf decks are gonna remain relatively strong though, aside from OTK Auctioneer Druid, like that's gone. Good riddance, I'd say. Yeah, the rest are looking like they're still gonna be very usable, so shouldn't really see too much change on that front. The buffs, I guess aside from Naga Mage, the others look still like something that's gonna remain pretty meta still. As for the buffs, we're definitely gonna see some interesting stuff with Plague DK becoming just unholy. I'm not really sold on the Frost DK just yet. It might need a little bit more support. And yeah, the other cards are looking mighty interesting too. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this patch notes. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave you a little bit of more light of what you can be expecting for the meta. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching, I'm Kris05, and I will see you in my next video or stream.